Hi, my name is Marissa J. Williams. My film is Lamentation, and a brief description of that project is it basically goes through the five stages of grief, kind of in this very visual and representation of those stages.
Nice. Now, this is a dance film. The
Yes,
the interpretation is done through dance.
yes.
Do you have a dance background?
I do not. So I actually have a music background. So a lot of like the concept of this film came through just my love for music videos, and how stories are really told very visually through music videos.
Mhm.
And I really wanted to challenge myself to kind of dip into another medium that I typically don't, work with, which is dance. I have no dance background. I mean, my younger sister is a dancer, but that's as far as like I knew. So one of my friends in the film department, he introduced me to Sage Felgis, which is the dancer in this piece, and I like immediately fell in love with just her work. I think she's incredible, so I was really honored to work with her.
So she is the dancer in all five pieces.
Yeah, yeah, she is the star of the piece.
And so she you worked with her to create different stages of grief, denial, anger,
Hmm.
bargaining, depression, and acceptance. You're
Yeah,
creating a dance for each piece. You essentially are creating five music videos into one short film.
yeah, exactly.
That's quite an undertaking because one short film, just the concept of trying to do that alone is difficult, and then you're basically doing that five times.
Yeah, and that whole process was very collaborative. Her and I had, kind of a intro meeting just to meet each other because we had never met. And I told her the reason why I wanted to make this project, which was due to my own experience working through grief, through a personal experience. And she said, that's something that I've been working through as well. So, I gave her the floor to really create her own dances for each piece. And then we kind of worked in tandem. I would be like, this is kind of the mood, these are the colors, this is kind of like the feeling of each emotion. And she really took that and like really created her dance completely on her own. And then, I would come in and be like, this is beyond what I was even envisioning. And so yeah, it was a very collaborative process.
Now, each you break this down into five chapters. Each stage of grief is five chapters.
Hmm.
So you, like I mentioned before, you're basically creating five short films into one film. You're
Yeah.
creating the look of each one. Like I believe the first one is the woman in the room
Hmm.
stage with the flowers, and it's got a totally different feel than all the other ones. You're creating like a lack of a better word, a short film there of that moment, uh,
Yeah.
be it uh, 1 or 2 minute short film, but you are production designing this,
Hmm.
you're set designing this, you're lighting it, or that is and you're doing it five times.
Yeah.
Did you work with your DP to how'd you work with him to Eric McFambridge?
McCambridge. Yeah, Eric
Cambridge.
McCambridge. Yes.
And you worked with him, I assume, creating the look of each one?
Yeah. I definitely was like, here is what I'm thinking. And at that time, he had a lot of ideas about just, first of all, the lighting and how we could really make each of these stand alone because each emotion is very different. So I wanted that to really come through. So literally every emotion is a different color. It's a different setting as much as we can control in our space that we were in. So I would just start by saying like, this is how I want it to look and feel. Like, what do you think? And he would kind of just be like, I think it would be powerful if like the lighting came from this direction, or if we're focused on Sage in this certain way. So I would say the whole piece with like every person on my crew was very collaborative. That's something that like has made me always feel comfortable working on other sets, is like when it's collaborative on all parts and everyone can kind of share their ideas. So I wanted to make sure that with something like this, that's really showing a topic that, I mean, a lot of people can relate on. It's like you kind of need it to be collaborative because everyone experiences grief in various ways. So I wanted to make sure that this film is kind of an illustration of like what we all can relate to when we're experiencing grief. So yeah, when it came to working with Eric, he brought a lot of great ideas. And I mean, he's got such a great skill set when it comes to DP. It's also a field that I like, you know, I obviously took classes, but it's not my expertise. So I really relied on him to help me kind of push what was in my head to be on the screen.
It's a wonderful film.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was great to work on. It helped me in a lot of ways. It was like basically bringing my diary to life visually.
Now, are you a graduate of UWM right now?
Yeah, I graduated in December of 2019, so right before the pandemic. And so now I'm working full time for 371 Productions, a documentary company here in Milwaukee.
Oh, how's that going?
Going great. We've got a few projects that we're working on, some that are in pre-production, some in development, some in post-production. So it's pretty great. I mean, it's the first time I've really dived really deep into documentary making, but I'm enjoying it.
Is documentary something that you want to continue working on, or would you like to do more experimental narrative?
I feel like I'm in between. I was definitely, when I was graduating, you know, very much in the narrative, experimental world. Um, but I do really appreciate documentary filmmaking now, especially with, you know, the ecosystem of our world today. I think it's really important to bring certain stories to light. But I really feel like I could go between both. I mean, I do have some passion projects that are narrative and experimental that I want to work on. So I feel like I'll eventually kind of land back into that land, at least for a time period, and probably come back to documentary. And who knows? But yeah, right now I'm enjoying documentary.
So, has this film been in any other film festival?
Yeah, it was a while ago, so I'm blanking on the name. There was Indie Fest, and then there was another one in New York, but this is the third one that it's gotten in so far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Because when we our film festival had a slight pause because of the pandemic, and
right.
we selected your film before the pandemic hit. So you've
Yeah, I
been kind of like
remember.
waiting to have your film screened for like a year.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that too, and I remember also telling myself, okay, well maybe I'll pause on festivals for now, just because I mean there was so much uncertainty around, you know, festivals, and then also just how do we all live a life in a pandemic. So I think I'll probably circulate it through some festivals again and see where it goes.
Well, it's a good film. I hope you do get in more film festivals, and thank
Thank you.
you for waiting us out till we resumed again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it.
Um, are you, besides working on 371, are you actively doing anything else right now?
Not currently. Like I said, I'm full time there, so I definitely am busy a lot during the week and with the projects that we're working on. But also those passion projects that I mentioned, I want to start actually spending time on working on those. So that's just a matter of me, you know, fleshing out those ideas instead of like, let me just write this down real quick. So yeah, I probably will start to spend some time on those sometime soon.
Thank you.